The Sniper by Liam O'Flaherty. Once upon a time, in the Kingdom of Dublin, the long June twilight faded into night. Dublin lay wrapped in a blanket of soft darkness, except for the gentle light of the moon that peeked through fluffy clouds. This moonlight sprinkled a delicate glow over the streets and the shimmering waters of the Liffey River. The kingdom was in the midst of a great conflict, where the mighty Republicans and the brave Free Staters were engaged in a civil war. On a rooftop, near the Grand O'Connell Bridge, a young Republican soldier named Liam lay watching the kingdom below. He was not just any soldier, he was a guardian, tasked with protecting his people. Beside him lay his trusty rifle, and over his shoulders was a pair of field glasses. Liam had the face of a thoughtful student, but his eyes gleamed with determination, the eyes of someone who had seen many adventures. Liam was very hungry, as he had not eaten since morning. He quickly finished his sandwich and took a small sip from his flask. Feeling a bit better, he thought about having a smoke from his cigarette. It was risky because the flash of light might be seen by lurking enemies. But Liam decided to take the chance. As he lit his cigarette, a bullet from an enemy's rifle flattened itself against the parapet of the roof, making a loud noise. Liam quickly put out his cigarette and crawled away to the left, swearing softly under his breath. Carefully, Liam peered over the edge of the roof and saw a flash from the opposite side of the street. He rolled over to a chimney stack and slowly raised himself behind it, his eyes just above the parapet. He couldn't see anything clearly, only the dim outline of the opposite rooftop. Suddenly, an armored car appeared, slowly moving across the bridge and up the street. It stopped, and an old woman in a tattered shawl started talking to the soldier inside the car. She was pointing towards Liam's rooftop. She was an informer. The turret of the car opened, and a soldier's head appeared. Liam quickly aimed his rifle and fired. The soldier fell, and the old woman screamed and ran. But Liam fired again, and she fell into the gutter. Just then, a shot rang out from the opposite roof, and Liam's rifle clattered to the roof. He realized he was hit. His arm felt dead, and he muttered, "I'm hit." He quickly tended to his wound using his field dressing kit, though it caused him great pain. He lay still, planning his next move. He knew he must escape before morning. His enemy on the opposite roof blocked his way. He had only a small revolver to defend himself. Then he thought of a clever plan. Liam took off his cap and placed it on the end of his rifle. He slowly pushed the rifle upward until the cap was visible. Almost immediately, a bullet pierced the cap. Liam let the rifle and cap fall to the street, then hung his hand lifelessly over the edge of the roof. After a moment, he let his hand fall too. Crawling quickly, he peered over the parapet and saw his enemy standing before a row of chimney pots, thinking Liam was dead. Liam smiled and aimed his revolver. It was a hard shot, but he took a deep breath and fired. When the smoke cleared, he saw his enemy had been hit and was falling from the roof. Liam watched his enemy fall and shuddered. The battle frenzy left him, replaced by sadness. Weakened by his wound and the long day, he cursed the war and himself. He looked at his smoking revolver and threw it to the roof, where it went off with a loud bang. The noise startled him back to his senses. He laughed shakily and took another sip from his flask, feeling reckless. He decided to leave the roof and find his commander to report. The streets were quiet, so he climbed down through a skylight to the house below. Once on the street, Liam felt curious about the enemy he had defeated. He wondered if he knew him, maybe even from his own company, before the war. He decided to take a risk and see who it was. He darted across the street and threw himself down beside the fallen enemy. When he turned over the body, he looked into the face of his own brother. Tears filled Liam's eyes as he realized the terrible truth. In the Kingdom of Dublin, even in the midst of war, family bonds were the most powerful connection of all. This story teaches us about the tragic consequences of war and the enduring strength of family. Despite the conflicts that may arise, The love and bond between family members remain the most important and powerful forces in our lives. Let us cherish peace and strive to protect and nurture the connections that bind us together. The end.